This man claims he's in direct contact with the spirits of dead painters. But is it really possible to receive messages from beyond the grave? In the seance room, can mediums conjure up the spirits of the dead? Does this rare blue orchid hold the key to the question of life after death? Mysteries from the files of Arthur C. Clarke, scientist, writer and visionary. The scientist who invented the communication satellite, the writer of 2010, and now in retreat in Sri Lanka, the visionary who ponders the riddles of this and other worlds.
The ancient port of Galle, on the southern tip of Sri Lanka, contains many relics of its colonial past. Few are more evocative than this old Dutch church, the Grote Kerk. Its monuments and tombstones are grim reminders that, for the early European settlers, life was fragile and short. Few of their children survived to see their second monsoon. Grief at the death of loved ones is a universal emotion, and therein is the seed of spiritualism. But the spiritualists believe that even when the body dies, the soul lives on. And more than that, they believe that if you can establish the right connection, you can communicate with the dead. It's a seductive idea, but is it anything more than wishful thinking?
Square, London. During the day, the embassies and consulates here buzz with diplomatic activity. But it is by night that number 33 comes to life. For this is the headquarters of the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain. Every room is alight with the hopes of the faithful. To draw portraits of dead people, psychic artist Coral Polge needs the right connection.
We're little more than a telephone line. Answer up, because that strengthens the contact so much. Many of our spirit friends have never done this sort of thing before. They don't often get the chance to have their pictures drawn. So I know sometimes you're nervous, but I'm sure sometimes they are nervous. Now, my first problem always is to sort out the people I'm drawing. Quite a young link here. I've got a boy killed in an accident, went over quite suddenly. Oh, stay calm, lad. I've got one of these links that... Oh, I don't know what happened to him, but it's a dreadful feeling that I've shot into the next world. All right, if they get too excited, I end up with a load of scribble if I'm not careful.
I'm being drawn. There's a lady there, you've got a blue... sort of blue colour on there. Do you have a brother in the spirit world? No.
No. I know someone who passed through there into the spirit world, a young man.
Do you remember his hairstyle?
Yes.
Did it grow
It was rather
like that?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
He calls it a bit like a Busby. You know, it's sort of the hair that stood up rather. You know what Busbys look like?
Yes, it did, yes.
Well, that's slightly exaggerated, but it's that sort of style.
I might get him right now, because I wasn't happy when I started. The head condition was making me go all off balance, and I couldn't see what I was drawing. That's better.
You'll remember him sticking his hands in his pockets, won't you?
I do.
Yes, because he said if there's one thing you often told him about, take your hands out of your pockets. You do look slummocky or slouchy sort of thing. And there's also his nose. He says, good size, isn't it?
Yes,
you used to tell me I had a big nose.
Yes, it was.
He said, I'm glad she's not drawing my feet, though. They're pretty big feet.
There was big feet, yes.
And he says, you know, I didn't think being in the spirit world would be so much fun. Obviously, one thinks of a young man like that passing so suddenly, tragic. But he said, oh, I don't mind at all. It's great fun over here. I can do anything I like.
It's terribly strange. That is my sister. Because everything fits. She was only 40-odd and she actually took her own life. I mean, it's not a perfect life, but it's all there. I just feel very shaken and very moved. that she should want to contact me.
This is definitely a picture of my father, and this would be a picture of him in the last 2 or 3 weeks of his life on Earth.
With their portraits packed away, the spiritualists move on to sample the other attractions, like sand reading. Here, handprints seem to allow the spirits to provide, through the medium, amazing insights into the characters of the sitters.
Looking at this sand, I realise that the person concerned has, over a period of years, passed through many upheavals. Your sand tells me that you've always been very domineering, obstinate, and brave.
Even the flower you bring seems to reveal your secrets to the spirits.
Now, if I just explain a little that this leaf is telling me this. I see that you have a very fine sense of humour. You can speak to somebody who would be a little bit uneasy and nervous and get them laughing, get them speaking quite naturally. So I would...
And the pets at the psychic surgery have been brought from miles around by owners who are convinced that the spirits can work miracles.
Yeah, because it's like Patches. He was blind. They said he'd never see, actually. And he went for contact healing twice. And then recently we've had, since absent healing, we've had confirmation that yes, he's got tunnel vision. And his vet thinks he's quite incredible and it's quite a miracle.
And in Danny's
The people who try to establish contact between the living and the dead are called mediums. To master the techniques of mediumship, apprentices need years of training in development classes.
We're going through these psychic centres. We're going to open up those centres, starting with the emotional solar plexus, the spleen and the heart centres. Feel that power coming up. Now bringing it up to your throat. And now the clairvoyant eye between your eyebrows.
Once prepared, trainees are invited to try out their powers.
Your mother's telling me that you have 3 brothers.
No.
Okay. How did you get it? You didn't bring it out, did you?
No.
You see, always accept, dear, that if something occurs, an error,
yes,
then in some way you've not used your mechanism properly, or you've interfered mentally or something.
Right.
But never let it pass. Go back.
Spiritualism, now a worldwide movement, began in this house in Hydesville, New York State in 1848. Katie Fox and her 2 sisters, Leah and Margaretta, claimed they were in touch with the dead. They said that the spirits communicated by making furniture fly about the room and by rapping in answer to questions. Spiritualism became the rage on both sides of the Atlantic. Mediums vied with one another in curious stunts. In America, Marjorie Crandon claimed she could materialize a spirit hand for sitters to shake. She also exuded ectoplasm, a mysterious substance said to come from beyond the grave. In Europe in 1868, Daniel Hume astonished friends by appearing to fly from one third-floor window to another. He held more than 1,500 seances. Some mediums, like Florence Cook, said they could conjure life-size spirits from the dead. A diaphanous form called Katie King was photographed at her seances. Eminent physicist Sir William Crookes pronounced the phenomena genuine, while another scientist, Sir Oliver Lodge, along with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, championed spiritualism in lectures, magazines, and